I'm Margaret in Windsor, and I'm going to try to put this up, and I hope I can keep it. Anyway, I needed to get this up this afternoon. Someone just told me that I almost hate to say her name because she gets off on it. That's exactly it. And she'll pester you. She'll come back as another person on another with another name. Anyway, her name is Emily Elizabeth Craig. She has used the name Windsor, and I have proven her wrong, and I'm going to put this up again. I understand, and I'm aware that she's gone before Parliament before, claiming to be the monarch. And now the timing of her doing this last episode of hers, and she may go before Parliament, and I cannot understand. She has no right whatsoever. I'm going to put this up again. Let me put this first. Emily Craig has had a DNA. It was paid for by a member of my own family for her to get that. And later they took him off of, he was in genealogy. Now, he had only, I'm not going to name his name, but he was on Facebook. And he told me that even though I don't want to say some of his comment. Anyway, he knew I'm who I say I am. And he said he couldn't help me with the DNA. I didn't ask him. He just said if I got one, it would help in putting it up on the internet. Well, this man that's buried calling himself Edward the Eighth is not my father that's in the grave at Windsor, Frogmore, with the royal family, with the American Spy. What a hideous joke this has been, that they could get away with it. Wallace Simpson and he are together. That is not my father. Edward, it is so appalling. Edward the Eighth, my father, married Claudia Ruth O'Keefe from Madison, Wisconsin, a beautiful lady, a school teacher. Sister to artist Georgia O'Keefe. There were some of my own people there that took my father down, the Illuminati, which of course is your Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Bilderbergers, Joe Kennedy and the Kennedy clan. JFK helped kidnap me. But the Church of England, Cosmos Lang, Archbishop, I didn't find some of this out until later about him, but he didn't approve of my father marrying my mom. How's that? So he approved of Wallace Simpson marrying a double, and then in all this Winston Churchill and the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, President Roosevelt, the United States, helped kidnap me at age 2. JFK particularly was involved in it, brought me to Moulton, Alabama, and stole my name. I have to use the name Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. My father's Edward the Eighth. I was heir to the British crown the minute I was born. He never meant to leave. He would not follow their orders. And by the way, after he was taken down and they kidnapped me, they had to get rid of me then. That's when the Illuminati and the Freemasons moved in and overrun, and Winston Churchill became a best friend with a traitor with Eisenhower, who's the general, all these people who are portrayed as being the good guy. Then there came Truman, and then there came Kennedy, I believe, and then Nixon, etc. All crooks, and I've put it up here on the video on YouTube's and Facebook. But so I don't lose train of thought and all this not be able to tell it on this one video. I want to say this though. My father went before, it went through channels, let me say this, and it's legal. Papers were drawn that made me the heir, should he have an heir be born, that it would not, that it would include, I'm not saying the right word there, excuse me, that if he had an heir born, that the heir would inherit. And it was legal, and I was born. It would bring my father, I had brought him back as power of attorney and guardian. Now, in my memory, when I found out for sure, and some other people knew about the cup, there was a fight over the cup. On that cup, my father had come back. Somehow he made it back when I was born, and I was christened. And then they kidnapped me, and of course that did away with my mom and dad. They were still alive October of 86 when I came to Roanoke. So they stole his identity and everything too. So back to Emily Craig. She's not a Windsor. So this family member that's on genealogy, and I think his son is now, and I don't want to cause him any pain, but he helped her when he wouldn't help me. I came along later, and she had her DNA run, and she's not part. Well, of course she's not. Here's the deal on her. I'm beginning to wonder about something else now, and I'm gonna, if I've got time on here, I'm gonna tell it. Anyway, here's the deal on Emily Craig. She finished college at oh goodness, what's the one next to the CIA headquarters in what is that? Fairfax, Virginia, McLean, Virginia. I can't remember, but you can look it up. It's right there. Okay, there was a college out there in Sacramento or near her that she finished college at. So I don't know that she's part of the Illuminati. Well, yeah, I could go back. I can't get it all up here right now. That part, I've put it up, but it's so many videos. So let me just stick to this. She finished college. She dated herself a long time before, or quite a while before, I came onto Facebook and YouTube. So this has been up. She's written books and documented it on, and all this, the day she was born, her birth. Anyway, she contacted me on Facebook when she heard of me. So now she's been on there a while before I come on. So she's heard about me, and she is telling me she's the illegitimate daughter of Edward VIII, and her mother, and she's told this on YouTube and interviews, and she's been interviewed on some of the top people, like Art Bill, I believe, did, and I'm not sure George Norrie, but Jones, Alex Jones, when they will not touch me, and I'll tell you why. They may be outside of my realm trying to help. I do not know. I don't think so. And that goes for Ground Zero with Clyde Lewis, who the program he's got is good. They just won't tell about me because it's going to tell about my dad and what was done to him and me by this country. And my own country, let me say some of the people there. Who do you think saved my life? The British average person did, and I'm not going to go any further. Okay, and the FBI here, and some people here. And I hope the FBI, the segment that helped me, don't mind me throwing this in. Now, I've lived a hell of a life. I guess you could say I'm lucky to be alive, and I hope my children are, so that I get to see them. And the lies in this whole thing that's been told about my father and mother and the crimes done to us are told. And some of you. That's what I've been telling about, and I'm not going to get into the mind control, writing about that right now. What I wanted to say, I think, if I can get here, is Emily Craig has up here that her father's Edward VIII, that she was born in 1944 or 45, which means that her mother got pregnant 9 months early with her. Okay, the first thing is that's not my father. If that was true, she's the daughter of the imposter. I don't know who the imposter is buried up there. Maybe they should check his DNA, and then if you don't clear this up, So now then she's not, her DNA was paid for. by a relative of mine who admitted he knows, yeah, I'm telling the truth. Anyway, then her DNA, she's not a Windsor. So now, she has dated herself with when she was born and 9 months earlier. She's dated that. It was on Memorial Day of 1944 or 45, I can't remember now, that her mother was supposed to have been an Army nurse and over in, well, first of all, I think she said her mother got pregnant with, and she's using my father's name. That wasn't even my father, if that was even true, but follow me here. It would have been the double. Okay, at an army base in Germany, her mother was supposed to have this one night stand with, she's saying my father, which I can never forgive anybody for doing this to a beautiful, wonderful man, and my father and my mother. Remember that, darling. I don't know if there's a law that will ever go after you for the pain and suffering, but I hope so, and you're still at it. You're going before Parliament again? My God, woman, when do you stop? Anyway, her mother was supposed to have gotten pregnant then in Germany. Now then, the next thing is her mother was supposed to have been an Army nurse in Arkansas. And why I can't find this on Google, I made a whole couple of videos way back there somewhere with this on it. It was on Memorial Day weekend. Now, I don't know if it's supposed to have been Memorial Day weekend in Germany the same year, I would assume. Well, she's over here in Arkansas getting pregnant on Memorial Day weekend. Again, now he's in two places at once and she's in two places at once, which would be the double. And she's, okay, the Memorial Day weekend is when Roosevelt's son, John, this whole Roosevelt family, Eleanor and all of them got in on this mess, and Winston Churchill and Eisenhower. This is sick. And I said Winston Churchill. Who's the other? Well, my own uncle got into it, and Elizabeth did. Illegal monarch. Okay, now then, the one at the same time that her mother's getting pregnant over in Germany at an army base, U.S. Army base, she's getting pregnant over here in Arkansas at Fort something. Atkins, I had this. I went back and researched it. John Roosevelt and his wife flew in that weekend, Memorial Day weekend, to Arkansas to be with the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, which is a lie, American spy, and a double. Not my father. Illegal title. And they spent the weekend there. And this gets into a lot of stuff that I went back, and I found it easy then on Google. Now I went back, and I don't know what's the problem, but I couldn't find it. Maybe I just didn't. I'll have to go back and try again. Anyway, I've told you this. The woman made it up. She doesn't even know who her mother is. She never knew. She was adopted by a Russian family out in Sacramento, and they owned a dry cleaning company. So evidently, that part, she lived okay life, and she finished college in communication. Well, that gives her the art of speaking, and she has gotten her lies published and through Amazon, and she threatened me with using my info to write some more of her stuff. She's gotten away with everything, and some people have helped her where I have stood alone, just about. So now then, I'm not sure. The Brits are the ones that told me if it's ever I get to go home, it'll be because of the Brits. If they're still able to hang on, I mean, they've been invaded, whether anybody wants to admit it. All this stuff that happened was planned, taking someone else's home and calling them terrorists, and then they become illegal immigrants or migrants trying to find a home, and all over Europe. And once another culture gets in there, they tend to call it their own at that time. And I know these people will come back and say, well, how about the UK? How about the Brits? I already got your number there. I really do. I'm talking about me, by the way, in Great Britain, the UK. The whole thing was to take down the British Empire and form the United Nations. So now then, I'm talking about people from other countries too would come in, weigh in on this. I'll make everybody mad from telling the friggin' truth. Now then, where am I with Windsor? With Emily, who's not a Windsor Craig. She keeps this up. I have proven it. She has come in as other people on my accounts. And I'm going to say this, and I never would hurt this lady in any way. I'm not talking about Windsor Craig. I hope she ends up in jail, in the worst jail cell there is, and she pays for what she's doing. I really do. That woman is hideous, and she knows the truth. She's just getting it for all it's worth. Now then, she come at me. I'm going to say this. I may have to do another YouTube, and I've done quite a bit, and she gets off on this. The attention. Okay, she contacted me on Facebook. So, see, she had already laid the groundwork for the timing when she was born and all this. Well, I come in and I tell about my father and mother and me, and that she's got to be talking about a double as her father, if that ever happened at all. Now she comes back at me and she says, well, I'm your half-sister. Well, no, you're not. Absolutely, you're not. There's nothing about my father or me close to anything about you, Emily Craig. And I hope one day it's a crime what you're doing. Now, she wanted me to go in with her to sue for Wallace Simpson's estate, whatever would happen to it after this double died. And I don't know who got all the estate after she died, all this outpouring for a cold-blooded woman and man who stole all this and did help do all these crimes. She was on all the magazines and all this. You didn't see my mom's picture there. You haven't heard about me unless it's something derogatory. I don't know that that's been. Anyway, I ran in a campaign, if you want a political campaign, to replace one of the doctors I wrote about out of Atlanta, and that campaign was to replace him. Larry McDonald was part of the Illuminati. And so I don't lose the track of thought here. Wallace Simpson, anything, money that was given to Wallace Simpson and the double was given in the name of, that's supposed to be my father, Edward VIII. That's how the money and all the jewels. By the way, Elizabeth Taylor bought one of the, when it was auctioned off from Wallace Simpson, I guess when she died, from the estate, she bought a brooch or something. I don't know how much money she paid for that. All that money went to someone else. And I'm left here, the real person that this daughter of my beautiful, wonderful father and mother and my children were so hurt in all this because they're heirs after me. So this woman gets off on all this. And before this goes off, let me see how much time I have left. Well, it's going off. I'm going to have to do another one here. And I hesitate to do this one, but I'm going to because I have no wish to hurt this one woman. Elizabeth Craig, I hope she gets locked up, spends a